Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing an interview with my mother's boyfriend. Introduce yourself, sir.
Lance B. Ware. That's Lance, capital B, period, capital Ware, capital L on the Lance. Thank you.
Because I call him the light-skinned Bama.
Okay.
All the goddamn time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, okay. Let's not start on that big old fake ass, poor ass, broke ass Teddy Ruxpin you got in your bedroom. She got a life-size, ragged ass, mangy teddy bear in her bedroom.
I got it at
needs to
BJ's.
be shampooed along with the carpet.
I got it at BJ's. My first paycheck. Alright, it's going away. Leave it alone.
Now she's gonna kick him out in the street.
I'm gonna donate him.
Ain't that some BS?
I'm gonna take him to Goodwill.
Goodwill, what they gonna do with it?
They can donate it.
They're gonna skin it, make some hats and sweaters out of it? What you gonna do with
You're
it?
so disrespectful. Alright, so today I'm gonna be interviewing him. Let's see if we can get through this interview.
Yeah, let's see.
Are we ready?
Go ahead.
Alright, so how did you meet my mother?
Well, what had happened was Craig and them said, okay, so your mama was a part of a project management team that was working on the MDM for Metro Transit Police. Okay, so the MDM is mobile data management, and she was hired for her expertise by this guy named, I think it was John Bircher. You heard? Okay, John Bircher, and I was in charge of records and crime analysis at the time. I was the commander, and I had to, be on this project. So she was brought to the doorway by another gentleman who was one of the project leads on it, and I opened the door, and she kind of stood there and just kind of stared, looked kind of crazy, and I said, I don't bite. Hey, come on in. She went to her man, and she finally came on in, and this small conference room, and I will admit wholeheartedly that I was looking at her chesticles at the time of the meeting, and gave her my business card, and that's how we met. She was very intelligent and very pretty, and that's very attractive to me. I don't like no dumb women there. Your IQ of a frying pan, I can't deal with you. I can't do it. I'm not the one.
All right. Now, what did you think when you actually had a conversation with her?
When I had a conversation with her, like what kind of conversation?
Like your first date.
Oh well, she had this scheme cooked up to ask me out, right?
What was
this is what she told me later.
What was the scheme?
Okay, well she was gonna she had worked up the the courage to ask me out. And I mean there were signs there, and she came in my office one day and she had to talk to me one-on-one, so she kind of scooched up to my desk, and he said, "Oh, I wanted to ask you." I think she said, "I wanted to ask you something, whatever." And I said, "Oh, do you want to go out?" I jumped the gun. I asked her. I said, "Well, do you want to go out? Or you want to hang out or whatever?" I said something to that effect, and she was like, "Oh, okay, So then we went out, had a very nice time, hung out in Alexandria. I think it was at a restaurant called 21, Jackson 20.
Yes.
And had a very nice time, and then we went on from there.
Okay. How long have y'all been together?
2018. It's been 6 years.
Damn.
Be 6 years in November.
All right. Do you have kids, Lance?
Yes, I have 2 kids. I got a son who's 17, who's about 6'5", so he's a little bit taller than me, and I got a daughter who is 14, who's right at your mama's height.
Damn, I'm just short as all hell.
You sure are.
That's none of my growth bad. What was it like working in Lamont as a kid?
let me say this. WMATA, it was an experience. Now, when I came on board, it was a different environment. I had applied for bus operator, electronics technician, and police officer. So I failed the psychological for bus. Passed the written test, but I
Wait,
failed
hold
the
on.
psychological bus.
Where did you fail on the psychological?
This type of person they want.
Which was what?
Well, a person that would take a lot of shit. Because
Wasn't you?
no, it wasn't me. Because those bus operators went through a lot of abuse, and I know I would have lost my job that first week. Somebody hand me the transfer, try to slobber on me or something like that. I would have knocked the boy. I would have knocked their eyeballs in the back of their head. No. Now, during that time, we were coming out of a recession, so electronics technicians, there were a lot of them who were more experienced than I was, and I had just come out of Test Electronics Computer Institute, but I didn't have that much experience, so there were a lot of them out of work, and then they hired them, so police officer, I made the cut for that, passed psychological for that, but I still had to wait a year and a half on the job. Now, working at WMATA, it was a great learning experience in many ways. So I will never tell anybody it was all horrible and bad. There were many good times there, and I had many good memories there. And I had experiences there as far as in management and working on major projects like the Silver Line project and everything else that really enhanced my resume, enhanced my knowledge and understanding of how a large operation like that runs, especially transportation and security. Where the bad part comes in is just the management above you, and you're working for assholes, and that's the hard part.
I feel that on a personal level.
Right, I'm sure you do. You're getting a taste of that now. So, so that's the hard part. Is they give you all these classes on how to deal with the public. When you become a supervisor, they give you all these classes on how to deal with your subordinates. What they don't give you classes on is how to deal with your superiors, or what they call managing up, and you have to learn that on your own. So the office politics and how to kind of do things to kind of manipulate your manager into getting what you need and what you want to get the job done. So that's the big. But nobody really. I mean, there's some classes out there that do teach that I've seen, but you really have to learn that on your own. And I've had to kind of mentor people into how to do that when I was there. Really got to manage up. Because you're going to have good managers, you're going to have people that are terrific, they're going to support you, and I think managers who give their people the tools to do their job and support them when they're right. And I'm not saying co-sign on any bad behavior. You screw up, you screw up. Should be slapped on the wrist or whatever. But when you have people who are on personal vendettas and they have their own dysfunctions, or they're not happy with themselves, they want to make everybody else miserable, that's not a good manager.
Yeah.
And you're going to run into that. And that's some of the stuff that I learned while I was at WMATA. And also you learn about working for a quasi-government agency and how they manage things as far as when they have major projects and they're expanding, or they're hiring talent, or when they're doing waste, fraud, and abuse, when they're wasting the public's money. And, I've seen a lot of that there as well. Stuff that has never made the news that people don't know about. Crazy stuff, that there were safety issues and everything else. Some things that were corrected by good people who worked there, and I tried to network with good people who worked there, but there was just a lot of things that went swept under the rug until somebody got hurt or killed, and then they got exposed. But a lot of these reporters that go up there and talk to
you making me not want to ride the train to work. I just want you to know
it's still one of
you making me not want to ride the train today.
It is still one of the safest systems in the country as far as its record. As far as its record,
Yes.
Now when you compare this to other transit properties, and I got friends at other transit properties that work, in different aspects of, some of the safety issues they have and some of the oversight and the lack of oversight. I mean, yeah, Metro is still one of the safer places to be and to ride, but it has its faults. There's always room for improvement, but you just need managers that are not assholes, managers that pay attention to the first line staff and frontline staff and managers that actually have their hands on what's going on, the boots on the ground, and do something about it. Instead of sitting there and kind of kicking the can down the road, or trying to cover it up. That's some of the biggest issues I saw. But it was a great learning experience for 25 years being there, and I have no regrets about my experience there.
What's the craziest thing that happened to you when you were working at WMATA?
Oh man. Now you just man. I have to go deep in the Rolodex for that one. That's so much. Craziest thing. Okay, here's one story that I was going to tell my coworkers at work. Okay, so I was at Fort Todd Metro Station with another officer, Officer Frank Johnson. We were in the kiosk with the station manager, and this is in the morning. And station manager looked down at the camera, and he saw this guy laying on the granite edge of the platform on the side going northbound towards Glenmont. So he was up on the red line. So, we saw it, we looked on the camera, and we immediately ran out the kiosk, and we ran upstairs, and, we saw the guy, and he was kind of wiggling and kind of edging his way from the edge of the platform, but he was still on the granite edge just laying there. And we're like, sir, are you okay? What's going on here? We thought he was drunk or something, or whatever. He was like, oh, well, I was trying to catch a train. So how you can catch a train when you're laying down on the grand edge of the platform? What are you doing? Come on, get up. So we smelled him and all that stuff. He didn't smell like alcohol or anything like that. He didn't appear to be in any drugs, but he was talking kind of crazy, acting kind of crazy. So we sat him down on the bench, on the platform, and he said he was looking at his foot, and he said, "Is that my stuff? Is that my stuff?" And he kept reaching for it. Is that my paperwork? Is that my stuff? And he kept reaching for his foot. So me and Frank looked at each other like, this guy is on something. He screwed up in the head. And so we looked at his back. His back was covered with dirt, right? So we looked, and he said, "Sir, turn around for a second. How do you get these track marks in your back?" So he had track marks in his back, like looked like the tracks that connect the two running rails. Okay, so those wooden slats that connect the running rails. So they're like, wait a minute, sir, were you down on the track bed at some point? I don't know. I mean, I fell, but I was trying to catch the train. And, I can't see right now. That I was going to the eye doctor down at Tacoma. So we were foretelling he wanted to go to Tacoma. I was like, you had to go to the eye doctor. You can't see right now. He said, yeah, my vision's real blurry, whatever. Yeah, so I saw the train coming. I ran for it. And then, next thing I know, I fell, and my back hurt, and, I just climbed back up on the platform. I said, wait, whoa. What train? There was no train that came through here in the past 20 minutes. Well, after we figured it out, there's, Amtrak and CSX and MARTRAIN run alongside Metro in some areas. So up there, they have the Metro tracks, there's a fence, clear fence, and then you have Amtrak tracks. So what happened was, an Amtrak train came through. His vision was so blurry, he thought it was a Metro train. He ran for the train, went off the platform like Wile E. Coyote, and fell straight down onto the track bed on his back. and then he climbed back up on the platform. He's lucky he didn't kill his damn self. Because he couldn't see. His vision was that blurry. He thought that Amtrak train was a Metro train. So he went, shoot, whoop, boom.
System, oh my God. Nothing will beat the story you told me with the special officer.
Which one?
Shit himself in the booth.
Oh.
And y'all kept sending him to the side.
That was just before I retired. That's all before I retired. So what happened was Dr. Praval, who used to work there as medical director, there's like three doctors on staff, and she was one of them. So she got promoted after the previous medical director retired or resigned, or got, actually she got walked off the property, but that's another story.
Just walked off.
That's another story right
Everyone
there.
just needs their jobs, huh?
So Dr. Praval, her staff came running into her office and said, hey, you gotta come here, Carrie. Dr. Praval, you gotta come here, you gotta see this. So Dr. Johnson was seeing one of the special police officers. The special police officer, I guess, was trying to return to duty from some kind of illness or whatever. And the staff said, look. So they pointed at the floor, and there's a trail of dookie chunks along the floor. And I said, a trail of dookie chunks? And so they follow it back to the examination room where Dr. Johnson's in there. Now, Dr. Johnson was kind of screwy. Nice guy, but he was kind of a screwy brother, okay? He just rubber stamped anybody coming back there. What, your lip infected with Ebola? Okay, boom, you got this. You got this, boom, you're good to go. Your foot falling off? Okay, you're good to go. Go back to work.
Oh, God.
So she goes in and goes to the examination room. There's this special police officer. Well, no, he had left. He was walking down the hallway, and these Dookie Chunks were going to the examination room and then out of the examination room down the hallway behind him. So he had basically gone in there. Dr. Johnson was examining him to approve him to go back to work. He had shitted on the chair in his clothes. So shitted on the chair, shitted on the examination table, and then left the trail of Dookie Chunks going down the hallway as he was heading towards the lobby. And Dr. Duvall was like, "Wait a minute, Dr. Johnson, you think this is okay? Does this look normal?" "Oh, well, he looks, looks okay to me. He just, he's got to go to the bathroom. It's like in his pants." So what we couldn't find out is he was, when I talked to some of the officials on Special Police, some of the officials I still knew and friends with, they said that he would come in the kiosk, nobody would want to sit behind him or sit after him. He would come to the kiosk, take his uniform jacket off, and put it up under him in the chair, and then he would shit. Like he just had a mental problem. He would just shit every time he sat down somewhere or walked. Now, I've had to run to the bathroom before. I can't run and shit at the same time. I can maybe run and pee, with some great difficulty, but I can't imagine just
like
shit
as you walk.
just defecating while I'm running, But he would sit on his jacket. He would take a shit in the kiosk, in the security booths, at the bus division, whatever, and then just get up and do. I was like, oh my goodness, no.
Still so fucking hilarious.
No.
That's hilarious.
And you've had wild stuff. People doing stuff down there. There was one time a woman got upset with another woman on a train, and it's crowded in the morning, so they kind of bunch up on each other. It's incidental contact. Nobody's trying to hurt you, whatever, or get on your nerves. But she was having a bad morning, so it was one woman came on the train, bumped this other woman. The woman got pissed off, took her high heel shoe off, and wham, right in the middle of her forehead, right here. When I got to the kiosk and saw her, they had the injured woman in the kiosk, and she was bleeding all over her face. And they had the other woman, cuffed in front of the kiosk, and I just took her and I stood up and said, "Does this look like this makes sense to you? Do you think you're going to work today?" Nah.
Do you think you're going to work today?
Right. But since we're on the subject of doo-doo, and the other story I told you was the guy who was the stinky guy that locked up in a costume. So this guy comes in to the station. I'm standing in the station. He used to make us stand there at the station, be on post all day long. So I told I would tell the station manager, I said, "Look, I'm your fair adjustment corrective action complaint adjuster today." So people come in there talking about they got no change, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Check them, write them a ticket or whatever. So this one guy comes in, and he looked like he was messed up on something. He was up there, had glasses on. He had this green, hospital smocks on, like the doctors wear.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he was standing there, and just looking up at the sky, and he was cussing. And I said, "Look, man, sir," I said, "you can't come in here doing that. You're being disorderly. We got kids in here, and they said you can't come here cussing." "Man, fuck you." I said, "Okay, let's try this. Get the fuck out, or I'm gonna whip your ass. Don't come back in the station again, okay?" "Is that more clear to you?" "Okay. Get out." "Well, what you know about?" I say, "Look, go." And I pointed to the opening, and I told him to get the hell out. So he left.
Get the fuck out.
Next thing I know, 398, dispatch comes 398. I said, 398. We got a subject on the bus refusing to leave at Anacostia Station at the T19 bus stop. I was like, what? So I'm looking out there, I can see it from the station. I'm like, what? Okay. I said, 398, I copy. So I walk on over there. The bus operator was leaned up against the bus stop pole smoking a cigarette. He was like, motherfucker on the bus, transit. I was like, okay. So I get on the bus. Guess who it is? That dumbass with the green smocks on, sitting in the front row, the seats facing each other. So I said, "Hey man," I said, "I told you to get off the property. What's wrong with you? You can't be on here." "Man, fuck you." He had to. So I said, "All right, let's do this. I take out my pepper spray. I didn't even use the pepper spray. I just took out the pepper spray, started shaking it. I said, man, people started climbing out the windows of that bus. Grandmother started shoving and throwing their canes out the window. Then they climbed out the window, and people shoving past me and getting off the bus. They cleared that bus in like 5 seconds. I was like, God damn it. So I just grabbed him up because he caused all this disturbance and all. So I grabbed him up, and I said, look, all these people on this bus, and, you disturbing these people. They're trying to get to work. What's wrong with you? Shove him up against the bus shelter. So I cuff him up. So I, lock him up for unlawful entry. Now, unlawful entry in D.C. is the same as trespassing. That's a trespassing charge. All right, so I got him up against the bus shelter. And, you have to check them. You have to, search them prior to transporting them for processing.
Yeah,
pursuant to arrest, right? No weapons and stuff. So I'm checking him, and I pull up his shirt, and then, some shit start flaking off, right? It's like, I thought it was just dusty. I mean, it was I thought it was dust. I thought it was lit. It was flaking off. It was skin. I was like, ugh, you nasty mother. So I used to always carry a lot of gloves with me. So I had doubled up on the gloves. And then I get down to his shoes, right? So you got to check his shoes because people put drugs in the shoes, sometimes razor blades, weapons, and all that stuff. So check his shoes, and I was like, I looked into the shoe, and I said, what's this green stuff? I was like, oh, you nasty mother, you nasty son of a... He had shitted in his shoes perfectly, because there was no shit outside the shoes, so he's perfectly shitting in his shoes. Green shit. It was in his shoes, and he had it on his feet, and I was like, oh, you nasty son bitch.
Was it like in his pants, or did he like pop a squat over
No,
his
he did.
shoes?
I don't know what he did, but there was nothing on the outside to tell you that there was shit in his shoes. It was all in his shoes. So I was like, you nasty. I dropped the shoe on the ground. I'm trying to push it with my foot back towards him. Put your shoe back on, goddammit, So I couldn't unarrest him because I called out and said I had one arrest. So you can't unarrest somebody. You got to take them out of process.
Nasty. You can't unarrest
Right, can't unarrest him. So Officer Khan, one of the guys I went to the academy with, he comes and transports me. He comes in the car, transports me. He's like, where? You just lock anybody up, don't you? It's like 95 degrees outside. We both sweating, stinking, smelling like, refried doo-doo and everything else. It's like, oh, come on, man. I said, I didn't want to lock him up, but he, forced my hand. So we in the car, and this is what we, people who, do that lean back the seat thing and drive with the steering wheel like this. Well, officers have to lean out the window. So we had the air conditioner on blast, all the windows down. We leaned out the window like calm driving like this to the side. I'm leaning out the window like this, trying to get whatever air I can because it's a cold car stank. So we get to the 7D in D.C. processing station, the 7D substation for Washington, D.C. Police, Metropolitan Police, and get him out the car, bring him in. So this D.C. police officer had his back to us when I brought him in, okay? And he was like, hey, Metro, what's going on? Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. No. Oh, hell no. The DC cop ran around the table, ran into the other room. And I said, hey, man, I need the keys to the holding cell. He threw the keys from the other side of the room at me.
Y'all.
And I was like, oh, man. So I leaned my prisoner up against the wall so I can get my paperwork together to process him. And then next thing I know, the DC cop, he comes back in. He has this big industrial-sized fan and plants it like right there. And the fan's blowing all the funk back into the holding cell area towards me and everybody else, all of the prisoners. So they smelling it too. And they start screaming. They're like, oh, shit. Oh, this one guy started screaming, oh, no. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, Lord Jesus, help me. Oh, shit. Oh, Lord, the devil here. The devil. Oh, Lord. So I took my eyes off my prisoner for a second. I turned around. I'm doing, getting paperwork together. I turned back around. The goddamn pants fell down. He had no drawers on. So you see all his jangalangs and everything and all that chapped ass skin and stuff. And I'm like, ooh. I was like, oh. I said, Jesus, help me, please. I'm like, oh. So I said, man, I'm trying to use my foot to try to lift his pants up with my foot. And I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna work. I'm like, God damn it. So I put on another double pair of gloves. I pick his pants up and I tied that knot so damn tight. And I was like, I was like, this ain't coming down no more. So I take him towards the holding cell, right? So there were 2 cells on either side. There was one big cell on the left side with a picnic table, and a dude that I saw the dude's paper. The dude weighed 400 pounds, and he took up like half the picnic table. He's sitting on the seat on the picnic table, and then there were 3 holding cells on the right side. Most of them were full. Okay, so that one bald-headed dude that was screaming about, oh Jesus help me, oh shit, it smells like shit in here, oh it stinks like mother, he going on. I'm like, man, shut up. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna take him to the left side because there's more room in there. It's just that big fat guy in there. As soon as I stuck my key in the door, dude, I don't know if you can see this camera, dude stood up and then went in the corner like this. Ain't say nothing. He just went into the corner. Putting his face as far in the corner as possible. His fat ass was in that corner. And I said, I just looked. Sorry about that. I just looked and I was like, God damn. So, I put him in there, locked the door. So I'm trying to get through the paperwork as quickly as possible. So if anybody knows how DC processing works, Transit Police, we didn't have our own processing facilities, so we had to use the processing facilities of whatever jurisdiction we were in. So we were in DC, and in DC you had to fill out the, I think it's a 251 card or 251 paperwork, give it to the desk officer, and the desk officer would book them. In other words, put them in the system. Once they were booked, DC was responsible for them. But see, DC had a habit of, if your prisoner was sick or something was wrong with them or whatever, they'd be like, oh, no, wait a minute, Metro, come back here, and you have to go take your prisoner to the hospital and you have to sit with them, sometimes all night. So my guy, as soon as I turned away from the cell, he started shaking and sweating. I'm like, oh, Lord, he coming down off of whatever you on, he coming off of it, he getting sick. I said, let me get through this paper. So I'm scribbling. So the desk sergeant comes in there and it's like, Officer Ware, what'd you lock him up for? So I told her the whole story, and I said, yeah, told him to leave the property. Told him 3 times, because in DC you got to tell him 3 times. I said, leave the property. He came back on the bus, and the bus was on the property. Well, you can't have unlawful entry from a bus. I said, well, ma'am, the bus was on the property, was at the Anacostia station. He refused to get off the bus, which was on our property. You still can't have unlawful entry off a bus. I was like, okay. Listen to the hand. I'm still trimming through this paperwork so I can get him booked. Then the commander of the district comes down, the captain. About 10 minutes later, he's like, Officer, yeah, tell me the story again about how you locked him up. Tell him the story. You can't have unlawful entry off a bus. I said, sir, the bus was back on the property, was at the station. But I told him not to come back in the station. He refused to get off the bus, which was at the station. Yeah, you still can't have unlawful entry off a bus. I was like, he goes back upstairs. I get through that paperwork, hand it off to the booking officer. He gets booked. I get on my radio, 398, get me the hell out of here. Call the dispatchers. Car came and got me, and they picked me up. And about 30 minutes later, DC calls us like, hey, this person is sick. Yeah, he sure is. Clap. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, take your pick. There's a million stories. Oh, here's a good one.
Oh my God.
Here's a good one. This is a good one. I wasn't even there for this one. This is one station manager named Chuck Harris, who's retired now. He's retired, living in the Philippines, married to a former nun. I don't know how that worked out, but Chuck Harris.
Former nun? Yeah,
well, it's hard to believe because his nickname used to be Filthy McNasty, and he used to have McNasty on his tag. He used to have Chuck Harris, and then McNasty was printed under his tag, and the supervisors allowed that for years. It was like, yeah, that's Chuck. You know how he is.
McNasty?
Yeah, McNasty. And he was McNasty, and he'd go to hedonism every year, try to get me to go with him. I was like, nah, Chuck.
And he married a former nut?
Yeah, that's a whole different story. He got Parkinson's now, but he married a former nut is taken care of. But anyway, he was at DuPont Circle. And if everybody knows about DuPont Circle area, it's an area where, a lot of the gay community resides or whatever in D.C. That being said, whatever, that's neither here nor there, but sometimes, whether you're gay or not, some people get on the elevators and they start to, get a little amorous,
Frisky.
a little frisky, okay?
Frisky.
So apparently Chuck said these 2 guys got on an elevator and, they were going whole hog, they were going all the way. So, they're taking their pants off, one bent over, and the other
I feel
one
like
was.
there's not enough room in that elevator for that.
It was enough room for them. So he said that they both took their pants off, one bent over, the other one getting ready to go for it. And there's a camera that's up in there. It looks like a smoke detector, and there's a pinhole camera in there that goes back to the kiosk. Most of the elevators, at least it used to be back in the day. So he said he watched them for a couple seconds. Him and the custodian watched them for a couple seconds. And was like, getting ready to hit it doggy style or whatever. And he said, watch this. He hit the microphone, the PA system. God is watching. He said the guy jumped up and was like, hey, pulling the hands over and getting off the elevator. Oh, it's a $1 million boy. I got $1 million story. Oh boy.
All right. Well, you're retired now.
Being a cop is the greatest show on earth. Let me tell you.
God.
Let me tell you.
You're retired from
Yeah.
Ramada now.
Yeah, retired last year. Yep.
Okay. What do you do now?
I'm an emergency preparedness analyst for the U.S. Senate, so I do that now as a contractor.
Okay. All right. Here's a good question. What was your first impression of me when we met?
You want to hit pause?
No! Talk your shit, man! Talk that shit! Talk all that shit! The nut don't fall far from the tree. Remember that.
No, don't talk about your mama like that.
The nut don't fall far from the tree. Okay? Let's never forget that.
I thought you were a very nice young lady. Spoke well. Had a nice demeanor.
How you feel about that now?
Oh, hell.
Talk all that shit. Go ahead.
I still have the same perception of you. A little older, a little crazier,
For damn sure.
stuffed animal lover.
We gonna stop talking about this bear. That's what we're gonna do. Because you have sexually assaulted my bear enough.
Look, now let's get this clear. I have not sexually assaulted a
You
bear.
have sexually
I
assaulted.
have put your bear in compromising positions with other bears in your room.
And people know. People know.
I have not sexually assaulted the bear.
People know because it was on my Snapchat, and I let the world know. I was like, "This is what
I don't
my
want nobody
parents
thinking
do."
I'm banging Teddy Ruxpin. Okay, I'm not. No.
His name is Barry.
Okay.
Now let it be. Okay.
Give it a name so you can kick it out. Put him on the street.
He's going to a happy home someplace.
Yeah, I was about to give her a bear because when she got out of hand, I threatened the bear and get her back in line.
Don't touch my bear. It's a $75 bear. Leave it alone.
Okay, it's a $5 bear now because you ain't cleaned him. Okay.
First of all, he sits in a corner for the past 3 years.
He's got mange.
No, he doesn't. What the hell? He sits in a corner. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. I'm not the one with the problem.
I'm really, really, really over you right now. All right. Are you surprised at how good our relationship has formed over the years?
Who? You mean you and me?
Yes.
No, I'm not surprised because I get along with everybody. Just about. I've been in other relationships before with people who had children, and I had a pretty good relationship with their children too. Because from what I've been told, because I talk to people, and even if you're younger than me, so I have a former girlfriend where her daughters, for lack of a better term, they kind of adopted me. So I'm Pop, or I'm the stepfather, even though I'm not, we're not going together anymore. So keep in contact with them, and technically I do have, step grandchildren, and I went to see one of my stepdaughters get married last year, and she had another baby. So, I talk to people, I've talked to people's kids. Now, I've had some kids that got a little smart and rude, and those relationships didn't last long, because I can't.
Don't take no shit.
I'll take the shit. I respect. I don't parent other people's kids unless they allow me to. But you know, if your child doesn't have manners, that's a reflection upon you, and I can't really be with that. I can't be with you because I know my kids. You know, if I bring somebody in the door and they disrespect them, that's a representation of me. You know, or if they act funky or whatever, and you know, I don't tolerate that. So that's where I am.
Okay. All right. You have any questions for me? And nothing about my stuffed animals for the love of God, because I'm really tired of that.
Is this over?
You're so irritating.
Can we get some more chicken cracklings from your job?
Sure, if y'all go in there.
Fried chicken skins.
If y'all go in there, sure, you're more than welcome to have as much as you'd like. Thanks for watching this interview, guys.
Am I getting paid for this?
Oh, God. Goodbye.